Iowa polls, of course, draw some national attention. And there was a poll in Iowa commissioned by Focus on Rural America, a group headed up by longtime activist Jeff Link, which basically says Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren are in a statistical tie in Iowa. Jeff Link joins me on the WHO Newsmakers line. Jeff, good morning. Thanks for taking the time.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
So, Jeff, you are a longtime activist in Iowa. Your latest poll has Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden in a statistical tie. What do they need to do to bring the victory home come caucus time next year?
Well, obviously we've had a big field, and the field is sort of shaking out a little bit. I think the debate requirements that the DNC imposed on everyone obviously has caused 4 or 5 candidates to drop out already. But it looks like we're going to have a close race. And what matters when the race is close, right now we have it at 25 for Biden and 23 for Warren. When a race is this close, the organization that you build within the state becomes critically important. And I believe that particularly in rural communities, the organization will matter. Everyone can, have a headquarters in Des Moines or Cedar Rapids, but can you really reach out all around the state in all 99 counties and be able to contact folks and get them to show up on a snowy night in February at their precinct caucus?
Yeah, Jeff, that is a fascinating point because, of course, the DNC has now rejected the original idea of a virtual caucus, and I imagine that has caused campaigns to recalibrate their strategies. It does come down to getting people out again, doesn't it?
No, it absolutely does. The Iowa Democratic Party tried to create an option for people to show their support for a candidate by phone before caucus night, and the DNC rejected that plan. They didn't think it was secure enough, and so now you have to show up, and it's a difficult process. It doesn't go fast, and you never know. I mean, 2 years ago, I think we had about 9 inches of snow right before the caucus, and so it creates hurdles.
It does. So, Jeff, in your polling, who do you think is very unhappy today with the results of your poll? Who do you think is fading in Iowa?
Well, the Harris campaign just had a national press call this morning where they announced that she was going to spend half of her time in October in the state of Iowa, that she's hiring 60 more staff people, 10 more offices, and they're committed to finishing in the top 3. Now, I wouldn't say our poll was the sole reason for this, but she had dropped to 6th place after being in the mid-double digits after the June debate. And so I think they're trying to reignite that energy that they had in June and July.
Yeah, Jeff, I would say your poll was at least partially responsible because, of course, it got national publicity, and a lot of the headlines were about Kamala plunging in the poll. Your group, Jeff, it's called Focus on Rural America. It's a Democratic group. What is the winning Democratic message in rural Iowa in 2020?
Well, I'm fortunate to work with Secretary Tom Vilsack, former Governor Vilsack, and former Lieutenant Governor Patty Judge. And what Secretary Vilsack and the Lieutenant Governor Judge say is step 1 is you have to show up. Step 2 is you have to listen. And step 3 is you have to articulate a plan for what you're going to do for rural America, and rural Iowa specifically. And, we've encouraged campaigns to put out rural plans, and fortunately about 8 or 9 campaigns have put out rural plans that include what they're going to do on biofuels, what they're going to do for rural health care, rural education, housing, and that's been very encouraging. We've taken 9 candidates through ethanol plants just to show them what actually happens in an ethanol plant, what's going on with that industry, because there's a lot of manufacturing jobs in those plants in small towns around the state. And what's going on right now, of course, is the Trump administration has really decimated the ethanol industry to the point that Senator Grassley and Governor Reynolds just today are talking about meeting with Trump and trying to get him to reverse these horrible decisions that the EPA has made. So those are the kinds of issues that we're encouraging these candidates to talk about.
That's Jeff Link, Focus on Rural America. Jeff, you always have great insight. I know you got a busy day today. Thanks for taking the time this morning.
Yeah, I appreciate it anytime. Thanks, Jeff.